Nikon Z 17 to 28. It is 450 grams. It's about 101 or 100 meters long, I believe. Hey, welcome to my YouTube page. This is Q Photo Lens. Today we're going to be talking about the Nikon 17 to 28 millimeter lens. It is not an S lens. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear about that. It is not an S lens at all. And we'll talk more about that later. It's a 2.8 aperture, which is decent for what we wouldn't be using it for today. 450 grams, about 101 millimeters long, and about 190 close focusing. That's regards to how close you can be to focusing this lens. It's not a macro lens by any means. It's a decent lens. Right now, at the moment, I have a filter on it. So I actually got this from Nikon. It's a loaner lens. I'm part of the NPS professional services. And I can talk about more in another video. But I called them up, said, hey, can I borrow the lens? The lens has been out for about a year. They said, no problem. Take it for 2 weeks. So I got it for 2 weeks. Did a couple of different videos with it, a couple of different reels, some shorts. And I decided, you know what? Let me do a YouTube video about this lens and just explain how I liked it and how I didn't like it. Or some of the good and bad about it. So I'm just gonna take off this filter right now in a moment. So this filter is something that I bought for my video because I've been getting more into video. It's a Kinko filter, pretty decent. PL fader, double check out. I might do an actual video about that. Then I got my little Amazon step-up ring. Very, very simple. Simple little step-up ring, nothing crazy. Right. And then we have the lens itself. Once again, aperture is 2.8. It's 17 to 28. It's a kind of an unusual distance zoom, but it's internal zoom. This is what I like about it. It zooms in and out, and I think a lot of people wanted to prefer that lens. It's a little bit heavier. It has some of the function buttons, and it was an S lens. But this one, the reason why I gravitated towards this lens was simply because it didn't zoom in and out. Right? So especially when I'm doing video, I don't want to have to try to balance it in the middle of the lens and have to zoom it out just halfway and make sure it's balanced. I've heard it's so difficult to do that, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna bypass that and I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna kind of just do it this way. This lens is nice. It's light, durable, weather sealed. It's universal to all the Z cameras, all the mirrorless cameras out there, which is really, really cool. Videos came out sharp. Of course, at 28 and at 17, you get so much more information. Since I got my RS3, I've been using my 35mm lens on it. I would say 95% of the time. I did try my 24 to 70 S lens on the RS3 gimbal with my Z7 II. And I felt it wasn't too heavy. I just couldn't balance it the right way. So I felt it was struggling. Motors, you could hear the motors grinding and struggling. So I just took it off. I said, I'm not going to do it. I believe that the RS3, and I'm going to talk about this in another video, but the RS3, it struggles with my Z8, which is a problem. With my cage on my actual Z8, I find it's a little bit too big, and I believe the RS3 Pro would have been the most suitable. And yes, the RS3, the one I have, does not actually say that the Z8 is compatible, but I don't even think the Pro talks about the Z8 as well because it's so new. It's one of those things. Also, it's Nikon, and unfortunately, Nikon doesn't get a lot of respect. So I got my friend Joan to help me do some of this video actually. So she was holding the RS3 gimbal with my Nikon Z7 II and the 17 to 28 2.8 lens on my camera, and we did a little bit of a shot of me talking and speaking into the camera, kind of walking, talking head kind of video. Check it out, tell me what you guys think. So one of the unfortunate things I always follow from Nikon is that we don't have a flip screen. You definitely need to have a monitor or just have to look at the back of the camera all the time. It's not a bad thing, it's just not preferred, especially if Nikon wants to get into video. Right now in the moment, I have my Nikon Z7 II set up right now. No monitor on it because the monitor just wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. But from future videos that I have, you'll see how the Nikon is set up with my DJI RS3 and my monitor. Right here we have a beautiful boat. We see how that comes out. It's looking very nice. Yeah, so we're just outside here right now in a moment in Whitby. It's kind of showing you guys the way this lens actually performs. So far, so good. I like the performance of this lens. It has great quality. It's lightweight. As a video lens, it works well. As a photography lens, it also does what it needs to do. Would I use it as a photography lens? Probably not. But as a video lens, this is exactly what I would need. I'm hoping for something similar to this later on so that we can get some actual lower aperture lens. But as of right now, this is probably the best one.